evil people here in China can really screw you over. And what do you hate about living in China? Do you ever date a Chinese guy, or if a Chinese guy is trying to date you and you tell him no, oh my gosh, they've never seen a black person before. Hi world, hi YouTube, this is Sabrina in China, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if you are a subscriber, thank you for coming back to my channel. Last week I told you 4 reasons why I love living in China, and you can check that video out if you haven't watched yet. This week I am going to tell you 4 reasons why living in China can be a struggle as a foreigner. Okay, one of the things I hate about living in China, and I hate this thing with a passion, and I want to say this traumatized me the very first day I stepped foot in China. Spitting. Listen, they spit everywhere, and I mean everywhere. And it's not even the spitting that is bad. It is the way in which they do it. Oh my God. And it just goes on and on and on. Like everywhere. The first day I came off the flight and I was in the airport, a man he was like, inside the airport. I have never seen that in my life before, right? And if that was not enough, when I came out of the airport and I went on a bus to drive to my location, oh my God, there was a bucket in the bus for garbage, and when I tell you, people were just spitting in the bucket like it was a sport. And I'm like, and this ride was maybe over 5 hours long, and I endured people spitting in the bus, and they didn't even listen. I am gagging right now. I feel nauseous talking about this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate this so much, and it's everywhere. But you know what? After 4 years of living here, I think I'm a little more immune to it now. I feel like, my reaction to it is not as bad as when I just came to China. Like now I hear it and I can exist, And what do you hate about living in China?
All the restrictions that are here on things that should normally be accessible to just like people in general or to foreigners. Like I kind of feel like they go out of their way to make things more complicated because you're a foreigner in China. You know what I mean?
So you mean
like getting a license or something like that.
It's not easy for foreigners to access those things.
Yeah.
Another thing that is challenging or can be challenging about living in China is the work visa regulations here. And I'm only speaking on the experience of teachers because I'm a teacher here in China. If you're working at a school and you're dissatisfied with that school, or you want to chase new opportunities, you want to go to a bigger city, whatever it is, you just want to leave. You cannot just leave that school. You have to get a release letter from that employer and a recommendation letter. If you do not get at minimum a release letter from the employer, you cannot leave, right? The employer must give you a release letter and go to the visa office and cancel your work visa and everything. If the employer doesn't agree to do any of that, it will be very difficult for you to get another job in China. So that leaves room for employers who are manipulative or employers with ill intentions. And I experienced that the first year I came to China. I was working in a village area. It was a very old population. I wanted to leave. I wanted to move to a bigger city and see new things in China, right? And I gave the employer notice in time. I think it was 3 months notice that I was going to leave. My contract said 1 month's notice. I gave her 3 months notice that I'm going to leave. And I think four other teachers also told her that they were going to leave. No problem. We were all in good spirits about it. She was going to get new teachers. Everyone was happy. She had no problem with us leaving. So we thought, okay, we found jobs in other cities and stuff like that. Our contract ended, and it was time for her to give us the release letter and the recommendation letter and all of that stuff that would allow us to work in another place. Oh my God. She decided that she was not going to let us go because she didn't find teachers in time, and she was not going to let us go. So she didn't give us the release letter. She didn't give us a recommendation letter. And I don't know what she told the visa office, but whatever she told the visa office, because she had connections with the visa office told us, hey, you have 5 days to leave China. That was it. And this was a lady or employer. We were friends with her. We had a great year working together. We invited her to our home. We made Jamaican food for her. We hang out with her. We went to party with her. We were very good friends with her, So we didn't believe that we would have any troubles leaving because she told us it's okay. And she's like, it's okay. You came to China to see China and explore, blah, blah, blah. So everything seemed to be okay. And then she did that. We were so shocked that she did that. It was through the help of the schools we found, the schools we wanted to go in bigger cities, and they were back and forth with her, talking with her, negotiating with her for her to give us all the documents we needed in order to work in another city, that she finally agreed to do that. It was such a challenging time. And so I really hate this about China, because evil people here in China can really screw you over even if you did nothing wrong. Although I can see the logic behind it, I can understand it, but I still hate it. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel, share, and hit that notification bell so that you can be the first one to know when I post a video. Thank you for watching. What's your least favorite thing about China?
It's just how crowded it gets in China. Just like the amount of people here sometimes. I'm from a small country, even though I'm from Copenhagen, the capital. There's also people there, of course. But it's nothing like China. Just how crowded it can get here. I feel that can be very tiring sometimes. Going downtown, and there's crazy amount of people, and So I think that sometimes gets to me. I like it more with open spaces and stuff like that. But
another thing that makes living in China challenging for me is the staring. Oh my gosh. Especially if you live in a small city or a village area. Oh my God. They will stare you down so hard, so intense that you begin to feel uncomfortable. And especially if you're a black foreigner in China. Earlier, I said the first year I came to China, I was in a small village area. That population was so old, and I've never met another foreigner in that area except for the ones I was working with. And let me tell you, when we would go outside, they would stare at us so intense, like we were aliens. They look at us like, so intense. Listen, it's so uncomfortable. Sometimes I would be walking and they clear the pathway, and people on this side, and they're like, it was so uncomfortable, especially if you're in a restaurant and you're trying to have a meal. so uncomfortable. Everyone in the restaurant staring at you. And this was my experience when I just came to China. I'm in a bigger city now. It's not so bad, but it's still happening, right? And I think in smaller cities, in smaller villages, they've never seen a black person in China before. Believe it or not, they've never seen a black person before. I've had Chinese people when I was in that village area telling me they've never seen a black foreigner in China. So we were some great fascination. You know, they looked at us, they stared at us. It was, oh God, it was something. And they take their phones and they want to take photos of you all the time. And sometimes some people would ask, but some people, they just come and put the phone in your face and you're like, oh. Yeah, you're eating and they come over to you. You're walking in your face and you're like, oh my God, you know? Yeah, this is something that I hate. Now I'm used to it, I think. You know, it's not so bad. But when I just came, I could not function with this. I didn't want to go outside. I felt uncomfortable. I didn't want to be stared at all the time. And if you're new to China or if you're planning on coming to China, especially if you're a black person, be prepared to be stared at if you're going to a smaller city. And finally, another thing that I don't like about living in China is that they can be so pushy and forceful. I mean, so pushy. I think this is their culture and it's coming from a good place. Usually, when you hang out with them, they will push you to try stuff. And even if you don't want to try it, they push you to try, they push you to eat it, they push you to do it. And if you say no, they are almost offended when you say no. You know what I mean? They want to give you what they think is the best. You know, if you go out to eat with them and they think a dish is like the absolute best and you're unwilling to try it, they will push you and be forceful. And I think in the West, we don't like to be pushed or forced to do something. If you go out to eat with someone and you say no, you don't want to try it, it's okay, you know. Here in China, no, they will push you and force you, put it in your plate and stuff like that, you know. This pushy, forceful behavior is not only in normal life, in daily life, it's also in relationships. It's also when it comes to jobs. Like, if you ever date a Chinese guy or if a Chinese guy is trying to date you and you tell him no, oh my gosh, they will push and push and push and tell you 500 billion reasons why you should be with them and why they're the best man, you know. They seem to cannot accept no as an answer, you know what I mean? And I don't like that. I don't like that they're so pushy and so forceful, even if it is most times generally coming from a good place. I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable. So that is something I don't like. So yeah, those are 4 things that I do not like about living in China. And if you haven't watched it yet, see my video on 4 things that I love about living in China. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're a foreigner thinking about coming to China, I hope this video gave you some insights on life in China. This is Sabrina in China. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.